Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hope everyone's doing great and everyone is all right. Got a few people trying to connect, so we'll go ahead and let them do that before we get started. All right. So hope everybody's doing great and everyone is all right. My name is Mr. Tucker, Vince Tucker, and I will be your instructor this semester. I'm assuming you got the emails that I sent to you guys because you're here for the intro meeting. So most definitely make sure you're always looking at your emails, checking your Canvas announcements. When it comes to class, all of our class emails will be archived in your Canvas announcements, which is right here. And so if by some chance you haven't heard from me in a while, you don't know if you missed an email or whatever, you can always go to your Canvas announcements. I will always email anything I say to the class, I always email it to you guys, and I always put it in your Canvas announcements. So once again, any emails will be archived here. Any class emails will be archived here. So the first email, we'll walk through the ones I've sent already. Was just greeting you, let you know what type of course it is. It's online, asynchronous. That means you're doing this class at your own time, at your own pace, based on the due dates that are set up. And just making sure you guys can see my screen. Yes. And then the second one, we're talking about this optional intro meeting. We'll have to click on that. Next one, course materials. So the main thing that you do need to purchase access to is MATLAB. And we're going to go look at that in a second. We'll look at it before the class is out, before the meeting is out. But these are the instructions right here. Go to mymathlab.com, click on register, and use this course ID. Now, I have a couple different sections in here. So whatever course ID I sent to you, that's the one you use. If this is not the course ID I sent to you, then don't use this one. Use the one I sent to you. Like I said, I have multiple sections that are in this meeting. And then you're going to put in that course ID. Then from there, you'll have three options. After you put in your information, you create your credentials, password, email, and all the stuff like that. They're going to ask you three options. Either you want to input the access code. Now, that's the access code, 16-digit access code that you've purchased from whether it be Barnes & Noble, TCC, Barnes & Noble bookstore, or you may have purchased it from Amazon. I don't know. Some outside source, you have this 16-digit code that will give you access to the course. If you don't have access, you can purchase access at the moment from Pearson itself. Now, they won't give you a code. They will just give you the access. And if you're not ready to purchase, but you want to go ahead and get started, you have a 14-day free pass that you can take advantage of. Once you click that link, then your 14 days start. All right. And I know we do have some people already registered and everything. So that's great. And so if you have not registered, you do want to get in there as soon as possible, see if you have any issues with doing so. All right. Questions on that before we go to the next email? Good. All right. Next one, MATLAB specifics. Basically, it's just an email letting you know how we will be using MATLAB in the course. Notice the first statement of note is that MATLAB does not work well with Safari. So we got somebody feeding. Hello. So I had to mute you. I don't know if you got multiple sources feeding off each other as far as the mic is concerned, but I was getting a lot of feedback. So if you don't know what's going on, you can always type it in the chat and I can respond to it. But I got a lot of mic feedback on that question. All right. But until you get that question to me, MATLAB does not work well with Safari. So it's best to download Chrome or Firefox. Both of them are free. I know it works well with Chrome because I normally use that myself. But yeah, if you do use Safari, you have an Apple product, use Safari, it's hit or miss on on the times that it will work. Like I said, sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. So it's best that you use Chrome or Firefox. So looking at our bulleted points, you cannot pass the course without access to Pearson, without access to MATLAB. All of our assignments, tests, everything that we do is going to be done through MATLAB. Your midterm, your final exam, everything we do will be done through MATLAB. All right. I just mentioned that all your assignments, tests, To show your or to solidify your activity, then I'm looking for weekly participation through MathLab. That doesn't mean that you have to get in there daily, just looking at weekly. Um, you know, if you're going to be on pace, you probably need to get in there more than once a week, but that's all I'm looking for, at least once a week to solidify your attendance and make sure you're good to go as far as being a participant in the course. If you're having issues with anything, let me know. I wouldn't know unless you tell me. I don't need deep, intimate details, but you do have to let me know something so I don't think that you just fallen off the face of the earth. I have people every year, every class, every semester that they do just that. They just fall off the face of the earth, and I never hear from them. They just stop. So, of course, there's nothing I can do with that but give you an F if you just stop doing work and you don't finish out the course. So to ensure that I don't think you're one of those scenarios or those situations, make sure you let me know something. Once again, don't need intimate details, but do need to know that you're out there still trying to make it happen. And maybe I can even have a solution towards, the course, make anything that's going on with the course. Let me see. Okay. I'll talk to you about your issue before we close out. All right, cool. So when it comes to homework, you have unlimited attempts to get the best grade possible. Mhm. Now, with unlimited amount of tries, I'm looking for at least a 75. So you notice what I have there, 75 to 84.9. I'll give you 90% in my grade book. 85 to 100, I'll give you full 100%. That's not something that will happen in MathLab. There's no way for me to adjust that and program MathLab to do that. So that's just something I'm going to do when I do my final grading. So you have in writing what I am going to do in final grading. But once again, MathLab would not automatically reflect that. Like if you get a 75, it just jumps to a 90. That's something I would be doing. So for every test and even your midterm and final exam, there are test reviews that will let you know what type of problems will be on the test. They're not mandatory. You don't have to do them at all. If you never open them, it will not affect you. If you open it, do a couple of problems, give you like a 20%, it will still not affect you. They will not go against your grade in a negative way. But if you're looking for extra credit, if you score at least an 85 or better on those test reviews, then I'll add 5 points to that respective test. All right. So automatically you get 2 attempts to get the best grade possible on your test. I mean, if you just want an extra one, that's not a big deal. It's just a compensation. But without any type of compensation, you get 2 attempts. And then for this class, 155, there's not much scratch work, but that's just a generic statement that I put on all of my classes. Like if this was 161, pre-calc or something like that, you should get some scratch work. But this class, for the most part, won't have much. But when you do have some, make sure you send it to me. And that's just for your test. Not all of your homework, but just your test. All right. Questions on that? Questions on that? Like, good, everybody straight. Yeah. Okay. All right. And I think that's it for that email. Let's go to the next one. All right. Last one before we go take a look at MathLab. Here are all the lectures. Like if we were in person, these will be all the lectures from beginning to end. Normally around chapter 8 is where we stop. That's what I did last semester, if I'm not mistaken. So really, that's what we're looking to get into. There are some sections that are past chapter 8, a couple of sections, about 3 or 4. Yeah, I just leave them up there for extra credit if you want to do them. But this is what you're responsible for, at least a 8.2. All right. And so look at them or not, it's up to you. There's no way for me to, hold you accountable to look at them, but at least you have them if you want to look at them. And once again, they will be the same lectures you would get from me if you came in and sat in my class. Any scratch work, anything you've written down that it would take for you to accomplish the goal or whatever your test asks of you. Yeah. And like I said, normally, I teach more than just statistics. So if you're talking about pre-calc, calc, algebra, you're going to need some scratch work. In this class, you probably, like I said, you shouldn't have that much scratch work because we lean on technology a lot. So hopefully that answers your question. If not, let me know. All right. Anything else before I go to MathLab? Very good. Okay, cool. All right, so let's look at MathLab. So once again, yeah. So you do my mymathlab.com, it'll bring you here. and then you can go to register student access. All right. We are using the LMS. LMS is learning management system. We are using Canvas, but it's not connected. So you don't, you just go all the way down. Say I'm ready to register. If you had click no, it will send you there. It'll just send you down. So click register. I'm ready to register. Whatever the course ID that I sent you, Tucker, whatever the number is, that's what you type in right here. And that was an old one. Yep, that's the old one. That's from last semester. I was just hoping it was a new one. Anyway, once you click on that on the register, it will ask you for all of your information, whatever information you want to put in. Of course, your name, email address, password. You want to create a password if you've never done so before with MathLab. You don't have to use your TCC information or credentials in order to create this. It might be good for you to stay consistent, but it doesn't matter. Whatever you do is going to be separate from your TCC anyway. But you create that account, and then it's going to ask you for those three options: your access code, or purchase access, or the 14-day free pass, and then it'll let you in. All right. So let's look at how things are set up in here. All right. So of course you're not going to have all of these shells. You should only have one or maybe two from somewhere, another one from somewhere else. But for me, you're only going to have one. Click on that. All right. So over here you have your things, your syllabus. I just need to update it with my office hours and some dates, but the content is still the same. I just need to update some dates on it. And here are all of your all of your assignments from beginning to end. And so you can see how the final exam review is right here. And then you see these extra sections. Now, you will not see your midterm or your final exam because you don't need it right now. And even if I put it in there, you wouldn't have access because it's gonna be password protected. You would get that password on the day of the midterm and the day of the final exam. Because those are the only two things that I have to see you. I actually have to see you doing, and we will be doing it through Zoom. You don't have to come in; it will be done through Zoom. It's just that I do have to see you taking your midterm and your final exam, and we'll get more instructions on that as we get closer and closer to that time period. And I'll say this as well. You will have a week, like the week before spring break is our midterm week, and I will give you 4 or 5 options during that week that you can choose from in order to take your exam. Like I said, it'll be through Zoom. And then the same thing, repeat the same process for your finals week. That final week of class, you'll have 4 or 5 options to choose from in order to take it, some in the morning, some in the evening type of thing. So try to accommodate everybody. All right. So when it comes to the due dates, you're going to have 2 major due dates. I haven't set up the first half yet, but this 5/3 is our last day that we can submit, that you guys can submit work. I got to get grades in the next day. Midterm is going to be where chapters 1 through 4 is going to be due. So like I said, I got to map it out, and then I'll change that, shortly. But midterm will be chapters 1 through 4. And that's what, all of your chapters 1 through 4 assignments will be due that Sunday going into spring break. All right. So you're only going to have 2 major due dates. And so you have that flexibility to do chapters 1 through 4, and then chapters 5 through 8 will be for your final. All right. How can you purchase access code? You can either purchase it through TCC's bookstore, or you can purchase it through Pearson itself. When you go to register and everything, it will ask you if you want to purchase it. So you can either type in the code that you got from the bookstore or purchase access right there. Yeah, we will talk about that. There's no lectures for chapters 1 through 4 because it's mainly definitions. And so we're going to talk about that in a second. There's specific deadlines for MathLab, or do we just have to do X amount of time? Okay, you already got that. Yep. So that deadline, like I said, you got 2 deadlines, and that's midterm and final. You already got the final date, which is right here. And I'm going to change chapters 1 through 4 to the midterm date. Once again, I just haven't mapped it out yet. I actually got thrown for a loop when I lost access to Verizon. My stuff's still not on. Yeah, I still can't call anybody. So it just kind of messed up my whole day trying to navigate picking up kids or whatever and all that stuff. So it got me. Anyway, so let's look at your first major assignment is going that's going to be due. Let me say it like this: your first due date for an assignment is going to be chapter 1 and 2 definitions. Chapter 1 and 2 definitions. So you see them right here on this left side. So chapter 1 and 2 definitions. So if you got Safari, this is one of the things where Safari will come up short. Unless they change things since last semester, Safari is only going to put up one page. And so you're going to think you did all the definitions and you only gave me one page. So yeah, that's where that's at. So chapter 1, chapter 2 are mainly definitions. Calculation really don't get started till chapter 3. I did point out some things in chapter 2 that would lecture just because of how I noticed how people had questions about, definitely like nominal, ordinal, and stuff like that. So that's why I started in chapter 2. But chapter 1 is basically definitions as well. And so instead of the regurgitation of definitions, I'm writing the definition down, you copying and stuff like that. I just give you these definitions, and your assignments in MATLAB are based on those definitions. So this right here, chapter 1 and chapter 2 definitions are basically to shore up your foundation of language when it comes to statistics, and make sure you have these in you, at least familiarizing yourself with it. It wasn't made to be a hard assignment. It's not a scavenger hunt, as a matter of fact. So when you go to your e-text is right here. Click on open my e-text. And while it's loading up, let me do this. So notice how it says what are 2 definitions of statistics: population parameter, sample, raw data. When you go to your text, go open e-text right here. So we're looking at the first page of 1.1. Oh, hold on, calm down. Wait. All right, so first thing, what are 2 definitions of statistics? Population parameters, and sample raw data, sample statistics. So my point is, it's not made to be a scavenger hunt. It's not a hard assignment. It should be an easy 100 for both of those assignments. And the definitions are in order. If you get to, let's say, number 5, and then all of a sudden you're looking at number 10, but you skip the numbers in between, that just means you missed a page somewhere. It wasn't made to be hard. It's just to familiarize you guys. Hey, let me get it out. Familiarize you with the definitions and the terminology. And please do not go to Google, Siri, or Alexa, or whatever, to find these data and definitions, because when it comes to statistics, different words may mean something differently outside of statistics. So please go to your textbook, your e-text, to get this information so you can have accurate accurate definitions. And once again, that e-text comes along with MATLAB. So if you're doing a 14-day free pass, you get full access for 14 days. You have access to the e-text. Also, let me do this real quick. Also, I didn't mention this about a 14-day free pass. Once you start that 14 days, that's when it starts the countdown. Also, it gives you access for the 14 days. Once the 14 days up, you do not lose your progress. You just lose your access. I will be able to still see your progress, but MATLAB, from that point forward, will want you to pay before you get your access. All right. So yeah, I was getting to that due date. Due date is going to be got the 18th. So I said the 25th would be a good date for that. Of course, you don't have to wait for the 25th to send that to me. But the 25th is a Sunday. So if you get that to me by the 25th, and then you'll be good to go. And the way you will submit that to me, you cannot submit this. The only assignments that this is like this, you cannot submit it through MATLAB. You're going to have to email it to me. You can either type them up, write them, take a picture with your phone, scan it, whatever way you want to do it. I don't mind, as long as I get them. Once I get them from you through email, then I will send you an email back link. I got it, and then I will manually put that grade in. And that's only for chapters 1 and chapters 2. So don't look for definitions for any other chapters. We're just doing it for chapters 1, chapters 2, once again, to shore up your foundation of the language that we're dealing with in statistics. He said if I watch the video that's the top of the worksheets. What video at the top of the worksheets are you referring to? Because if it's are you talking about from inside of MATLAB? Oh, well, I don't know. I didn't make those videos. So if it's a Pearson instructor, because there are Pearson videos in here, I can't give an account for what they actually covered. So um yeah, so that's Pearson's teachers. Yep, yep, no problem, no problem. All right. So when it comes to your assignments, let me go back here as well. You're only held responsible for these assignments. Now, if there extra stuff somewhere like planning stuff and all the stuff, if you decide to do that, it's fine, but that has nothing to do with your grading. These are all your grades. You're talking about your homeworks and your tests. That's all I'm holding you responsible for. Homework and tests. Homework and tests. So you have 4 tests that you have access to, and then your midterm and final exam, we'll do that when we get to those times. Um, any questions while I make sure I'm covering everything? Questions, concerns, comments, anything, anybody? Go back to the assignments. Pull up. Yep, email is vtucker@tcc.edu. I just put it in the chat as well. You also can email me through Canvas as well. Now, the way I see Canvas and the way you guys see Canvas is a little different, so I don't know exactly where it is. But yeah, you can contact me through Canvas as well, and it comes to the same email address. So once again, that's vtucker@tcc.edu. All right. So let me make sure you guys can see the screen. All right, so let's look at it a little bit how MATLAB works. So you have these help tools down here. When you click on an answer, say check the answer, they try to give you help. And they give you another opportunity. Once again, try to give you a hint. And final check. So they tell you what the answer is. And continue. This had more than one part. Okay. So same thing happened here. All right. So if you have a problem that has multiple parts to it, it is possible to get part of it right, part of it wrong. So you see that right here, red X/green check. And when you list the problems, it'll say the same thing. If you get it all right, it'll be a green check. If you get it all wrong, it'll be a red X. Here you have the option of doing a similar question. Once you click on that, it'll reset the problem, and you can do it over again with just different numbers. And if you get it all right, then it'll turn this into a green check, and so you get full credit. All right. Down here, your help tools help me solve this. Normally, people don't click on that because it'll automatically mark your answer wrong. I mean, your question wrong because, it did it for you and it's going to walk you through, the problem. So that would be marked wrong. And of course, you can hit similar question to reset it so you can try it again. View an example is what most people click on because that will open up a window of a problem very similar to it with different numbers. And you can go through the steps. Sometimes people even print it out. And then for here, get more help depending on what's going on, the complexity of the problem that'll dictate how many options you have here for get more help. So you see this one, they give you a video, once again, of a Pearson instructor talking about how to do this problem. Textbook that will send you to the e-text where they talk about this problem. StatCrunch is Pearson's version of Excel. So if you want to know, you play around with it, but if you want to know or get some help on how to do StatCrunch or do some of the features of StatCrunch, always get with me, email me, and we can set up a time to discuss it. But it's not mandatory that you use StatCrunch. And you'll see in the videos I talk about it, you can use whatever technology that you would like to use. You go to Google and it says, let's say standard deviation, and you Google standard deviation calculator. If you find something reliable that you want to use, then that's fine. Just make sure that whatever you use is reliable and is reliable enough that you'll be able to use it for the midterm and the final exam, because you don't want to have something that you've been using up to this point, and then when it get to the midterm, site done crashed or you don't have access to it no more, or whatever the case may be. So make sure whatever you use is going to be something that you can use for your midterm and final exam. And Tech Help just lets Pearson's tech people know that you have an issue, and they ask my instructor is sending an email to me that you have an issue with this problem. So if ever that's the case, I have had people in the past. Now I don't know if this was user error or if it was just stuff not interfacing properly when they've sent that out, and for some reason I didn't get the email. If that does occur, then just make sure that just email me again. It's not a problem. Um, you know, Sometimes I might even miss an email. Email me again, and we'll make sure you're good to go. I don't create these situations or the opportunities for you to contact me just so I can not email you or not contact you back. So, yep, just allow that grace to happen. Sometimes things happen, especially with technology. All right, questions on that? Any questions on how to operate with MATLAB? All right. So once again, when it comes to definitions, I should be sending. I'm probably gonna send an email out to you guys to remind you as well. We're talking about January 25th. Getting those definitions to me as soon as by that time. But once again, you don't have to wait till the 25th if you want to get in there early. Get them to me early and get them out the way. Let's see. I think that is it as far as I'm concerned. Just trying to confirm there's nothing else. We went through the emails and yep, those are the assignments. So, once again, I'm going to adjust these dates. Well, yeah, these dates right here for that midterm time block. And chapters 1 through 4 will be your first due date, and then 5 through 8 will be this May 5th due date, and we'll go from there. So if you don't have any questions, I know I got one question that was having an issue getting in the MATLAB. I'm going to stop the video before we talk because I got to send this out to the class. But if you don't have any questions, any general questions, then have a great one. Be safe. Look forward to having a great semester with you. And also feel free to email me if you have any issues. Oh, also I'm going to post my office hours as well within the next few days or so. And so those will always be an option as well for you to log on and get help if you need it. All right. You see, make sure no one's in. All right, no problem. You have a good one. Y'all take care, and I'll see you around.